Pasito tum tum, pasito tum tum, pasito tum tum, pasito tum tum.
Hola, this is WIllie, not CM Punk. Welcome to another classic modern film review. For the next topic of Superman, here it is from the Modern Reviews, Man of Steel. Starting with a big cast name, Russell Crowe, Kevin Costner, Amy Adams, Lawrence Fishburne, this was the only movie I was looking forward to that summer of 2013. The trailer looked epic and it had Christopher Nolan's name in it as the producer. But since its first release, many were split with the movie either loving it or hating it. Personally, I like it and I get excited every time I see it. I just don't love it as much as I first did when I saw it. It retells the origin story of Superman, where in Krypton, young Kal-El, played by Henry Cavill, is given birth in Lion King fashion. Just like in the 78 version, scientist Jor-El foresees the destruction of Krypton and tries to get his son out of there in the most climactic way possible. He ends up on Earth and is raised as Clark Kent and later discovers his past, becoming the symbol of hope known as Superman. But later, trouble arrives when Kryptonian survivors emerge on planet Earth to bring massive destruction led by General Zod, played by Michael Shannon. Okay, let's talk about the weak moments in this movie. I can give it a pass on the complicated plot on how babies are born in Krypton. I can give it a pass on the out-of-order flashbacks. Here's where I can see why many people don't like this movie as much. Man of Steel explains very well what it means to be Superman. It revolves around him being an alien that won't be accepted by society. He's a loner who doesn't fit in, but we never get to know who Superman is as a person. And by that, I mean this. The other supporting cast express their beliefs of what Superman could become. Kent believes he was sent to Earth for a reason. Jor-El believes he can be a force for good for different people. Even General Zod believes he's the solution to restore Krypton back. But we don't get to know what he believes in. We know he's troubled and looks for answers to know where he came from. But once he finds the answers, the movie doesn't dwell on exploring more on him as a person because it then moves on to the action which takes the whole half of the movie. Henry Cavill looks the part, but we don't get to see his personality or anyone else's. While I do like the dialogue, it's all monologues that everyone ends up looking bland. The romance is very rushed with Lois Lane. At first she's given a personality, but then she turns bland in the end. She tries to help more, I'll give her that. Krypton has some nice views, but it looks like anything you've seen from any sci-fi movie. I was more impressed with the set designs from the 78 version. Just the way the movie was shot is really not that impressive to look at. They tried to give it a serious tone and turns out to look very grey and cold with no sense of real human emotion. And when they were not praising him, they were putting him in the pedestal of Messiah! Ha! Just a symbolism? Oh, you didn't get that? How about this one? Ha! Just a symbolism? So obvious that you came to our world, these power to save the earth from the sisters and naked love you in prison forever, never la 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 la. Give me a break. I know they're trying to portray him as a martyr savior, but man, leave Jesus out of this. Okay, you might think I'm bashing this movie, but I'm not. There were some things I liked in this movie. For example, they upgrade Superman's struggle, and you might think I'm crazy, but I can't talk about it without first mentioning the destruction in the city. They destroy everything. Smallville, Metropolis. I gotta say, that was a lot to take in. This is what upset most viewers for having casualties in a superhero movie. Now, it's not like you assume people died for having a massive destruction. No, you see people die. Personally, I think it was a good idea. This is an apple that many take to add more hate to a movie they already hate. Okay then, when The Dark Knight came out, where was the complaints that Batman did not save everyone? Or, when Green Lantern came out, where were the complaints about the casualties in that movie? I know it's not worth mentioning because that movie sucks, but I'm trying to make a point. Or better yet, when the Avengers came out, where was the hate for the amount of civilian deaths in that movie? Honestly, I'm perfectly fine with the destruction because it raised the stakes. It added more tension, establishing the villains as a huge threat against Superman with quotes as, "For every human you save, we'll kill a million more." It showed how unexperienced he was, making us root for him even more to prevail. It's not like he was facing a simple villain and chasing 2 missiles like in the other one. He faces a real challenge when he goes head to head with Kryptonians who are equally, if not stronger than him. It's actually refreshing to have more powerful villains that can cause severe damage, instead of Superman having the upper hand all the time. Plus, this could play an important key role in the next sequel of Man of Steel. Farah was kinda cool. General Zod is one of those I was looking forward to, and he's the only character you can kinda connect with. You understand the reasons behind his actions. He was programmed since he was an infant to protect with his body and soul his home planet. But he will take extreme measures to do so, even turning against his own. I don't care what others say, Superman vs. Zod was an epic fight in the city. Every time I see it, it makes my testosterone into steel. If that makes any sense. It took a controversial risk in the end that I won't spoil away if you haven't seen it. However, I was reluctant on how they approach it afterwards, like it never happened. Well, hopefully they approach it much better in the sequel. Hans Zimmer's score sounds really good to pump you up whenever you're jogging, but I still prefer John Williams' soundtrack from Superman. While Zimmer sounds more like the high school band playing the most epic thing ever, Williams' score is more like the Star Wars in a whole package, sounding triumphant, cheesy, but also whimsical. No, you know what it is? It's the violin. Yes, violin. There's something about it that makes music much awesome and more iconic to hear, but then again, I've never been in band. So, is this the worst Superman movie out there? I wouldn't even go too far on saying it's a bad movie. It has some plots that work much better than other plots. Still, it has again its weak moments that I can see why many would rip Man of Steel apart. I'm totally fine being different from the Richard Donner's version. I mean, how many times we have to see that again? It lacks, however, the personality and charm that made the original a classic. Still, the action is breathtaking, is decently shot, the soundtrack is epic, and they go deep on the concept of Superman, but the characters are so bland that they don't get to shine that much because they have to spend half of the movie trying to get rid of the villains. I think it's good, only not great. And since this has Christopher Nolan's name in it, I wouldn't go too far either on saying this is his best project he's ever been. As much as it pains me to say it, I give it a 6.5 out of 10 stars. And that's that. Those were my thoughts on Man of Steel. What were your thoughts about the movie? Did you like it? Did you not like it? You can comment down below and say why or why not. Well, tune in next time for more Batman or Superman reviews. So for now, that's it for today. Ciao.